You have sigma repeatability, you have sigma reproducibility. When I combine, both are going to be called as gauge R&R. How? Sigma, first of all, you have to combine the sigma. You can't combine the sigma just like, mere adding. You have to square the sigma repeatability, square the sigma reproducibility, and then only you should add. After squaring and adding, you take a square root. That is the resulting sigma. It is like your Pythagoras theorem. Because standard deviation is never negative. It is always positive. So you have to convert into variance. Variance only will have the plus and minus. So I square it, it becomes variance. I square the other one, that also becomes variance. Variance can be combined because variance only has the original signature plus or minus. So now you can combine the variance. And again, to get the standard deviation, you take the square root. And you understand how the sigma error came? Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. And now, one sigma is known. The total error is 6 times sigma. Now this sigma will include repeatability also, reproducibility also, because I have combined here. And now, when I multiply this sigma by 6, that is called the total measurement error. This is otherwise called precision error. Total measurement error is otherwise called as precision error. When I say error is this much, I need to know the denominator. Suppose when I conduct an exam and if you say, sir, I got 80 marks, I am really interested in knowing the denominator. Have you got 80 out of 100 or 80 out of 200? Because without denominator, knowing the number is helpless, right? So always you need to compare the precision error with your tolerance. If your company works in terms of the customer tolerance, then denominator will be USL minus LSL. If your company measures your performance with respect to the customer tolerance, then denominator can be USL minus LSL. So numerator is precision, denominator is tolerance, and this ratio obtained is called precision tolerance ratio. The precision tolerance ratio is given an another name, which is called gauge R&R. All of you understand what is gauge R&R? You understand?
Yes,
What
sir.
is
Yes, sir.
precision
Yes, sir.
tolerance ratio. I have taught you how to measure the precision value, tolerance value. And now, if this gauge R&R, precision tolerance ratio, is less than 10%, your measurement system is good. But if it is 10 to 30%, conditionally acceptable. What is conditionally acceptable? If your control limits are far inside the specification limit, then it is okay. But if your control limits are closer to specification limit, I don't consider this. I don't use this measurement system. Rather, I will try to improve it or try to buy a new one. But at any cost, if the measurement error is gauge R&R is more than 30%, definitely not acceptable. See here, imagine you are measuring a product with a dimension of 100 plus or minus 0.5. Now, what is USL? 100.5. What is LSL? 99.5. And now, I am showing your regions. This is your LSL. This is your USL. Your target is here. Now, what is the permissible error? How much is the permissible error? 10%. 10% of your customer tolerance. How much your customer tolerance here? Or specification width? How much it is? Tell me.
10%. 1%.
1%. It's not 1%. 1.
1.
100.5, 99.5. If it is mm, you can say 1 mm. What is 10% of 1? 0.1.
0.1.
That is written here. 0.1 and 0.1. Do you understand this 0.1 and 0.1 closer to the specification limit? 0.1 above the specification limit, 0.1 below the specification limit decides your uncertainty zone. Why do I call it uncertainty? If you have the habit of producing products here, your quality checker may classify your product wrongly. Though it is here, though it is inside, your quality checker can still reject your product because your error is how much? 0.1. For example, I am giving a reading. Look here, how much is the reading? 100.45. 100.45 means, is it inside spec or outside spec?
Inside.
Midpoint.
For 100.45, you apply you apply an error of plus 0.1. What will happen to your
It
reading?
is inside. It is correct only.
It is correct, but error is 0.1. So 100.45, when error gets added up, what will happen to your reading?
Beyond
It's
specification.
outside specification.
A product which is good will now get rejected. This is called type 1 error. A good product getting rejected will increase the manufacturer's risk. This is called type 1 error. Similarly, another thing is also possible. Minus also. Suppose my product is 100.55. It is a bad product. But because of the error, my quality checker may place it inside. So never try to produce products in your uncertainty zone. If you have the habit of producing everywhere, 10% of your output, or otherwise the output in this particular uncertainty zone will experience type 1 error as well as type 2 error. Do you all understand?
Yes.
Yes,
Sir.
That is why we want our measurement error to be less than 10%. If you keep it 10 to 30, then 30% of the zone will become uncertainty. So that's why the 10 to 30 is conditionally acceptable. But it is better. That is why we don't want to produce. We don't want to keep our control limit closer to specification limit. I will remove this. I will bring my control limit here through process improvement. You know what is the advantage? Now I started producing everything inside the control limit. Do you think now my measurement error will make me commit type 1 error and type 2 error?
No.
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 Even if your people makes a 10% error, still your good product remains as good, bad product remains as bad, right? So that is the advantage, because you have been producing particularly your good product, not the bad product. Your good product is treated as good only. That is the advantage of keeping control limit well inside. And that is the meaning of 10 to 30% conditionally acceptable. When can you accept 10 to 30%? If you know your control limits are far inside the specification limit. If you know your control limits are closer to spec, then you should stick to the first rule. What is that? Less than 10%. Hope it is very clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Just
sir.
a question, sir.
Yes, please.
Regarding the third point, for example, in case if we have a very good LSL and USL compared to the specification limit, even greater than 30% can be a possible to accept, right?
Practically, I mean, no, practically what you are telling is okay, but more than 30%, that is too much of error your system has. Too much of
Yeah,
error your
but-
system has.
Okay.
And your system is good only in not committing the type 1 error. That's all. You can say my error is more than 30%, but my control limit is well inside. That means
Yeah.
you are sure that you are not going to commit type 1 error, but you are not sure whether you are accurate or not. Your accuracy will also get affected.
Okay.
Because 30%.
Maybe my products are within specification,
May
but
I come?
my data collection is not.
May I come?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Please note, nobody is preventing us from doing anything. If there is an inspection, if you want to get that inspection passed, then you follow it. If there is no inspection, why should we follow anything, right? It is only our own benefit. Like, for example, we are painting our house once in a year. Why are we painting? Is there a rule that we should paint once in a year? They have been saying that every Pongal you paint. It's a rule we are following. Somebody is telling that follow the rule. We are following. It is up to us to paint or not to paint every year.
Okay.
After 5 years, if we think that we should paint, we will paint. That's all.
Sure.
If there is going to be an inspection, then they are going to give you the patta only if it is painted. Then we will follow it. The same way, they are giving a rule. The
Yeah.
rule is to be followed by us. If suppose our purchaser is there, if he is insisting, then you have to go for it. If he is not insisting, still, if you are worried about our own quality, we have to follow it. Still, if you have a problem, then we need not follow. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You have 10% error. You are making a bias of 10%.
Yeah.
Right? If you have 30% error, what will be your amount of bias? 30%. If
Correct.
that is okay for you, if you think still you can make improvements in your company, then you can have your own rule, but general rule is unacceptable.
Yes.
AIAG is
Okay.
like unacceptable, right? And it is
Yeah.
very clear, right? And this is a sample study we did, like how we collected the data, we did the data, and we just wanted to understand whether the way we are teaching you is that the software also working in the same way. So we did the calculations manually by our own hand, our own Excel method, and we got all this report. And this is the Minitab report. And there is almost, I would say, 99.999% match in the report. You see here, sigma repeatability is 0.5037 is our reading. The software reading is 0.5035. That means whatever you have understood from us is, very clear. It's definitely, the perfect one. And now the gauge R&R is reflecting here. How much is the gauge R&R? 97%. That means it is more than 30%. Measurement system is unacceptable. Even the same software, if the measurement error is unacceptable, and this is another report which says the error is 27%. 27% means 10 falls in the category of 10 to 30%, conditionally acceptable. And look here, the software also gives you NDC. I already told you, NDC is calculated by multiplying the ratio, standard deviation of the parts divided by standard deviation of the gauge multiplied by 1.41. That makes your NDC 5. The minimum requirement is 5. And this is how you understand the capability as well as adequacy. If you have NDC of 5 and above, your system is adequate. If you have a gauge R&R of less than 10%, your measurement system is capable. If you have problem with adequacy or capability, with the same data, we can generate 6 types of graph with which we can clearly understand the root of the problem. And then we will be able to correct the measurement system also. But what I do is I would like to stop here for your tea, and then we'll continue after your tea break. I think we will have 10 minutes tea break here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
3:40.
Yes, sir.
Please take 10 minutes tea break and do come with your questions. I'll be happy to clarify your questions. And is that all of you have the GEMS packet in your hand? We have instructed. Is it available?
Yes.
How many of you have? Can you show me?